What's up, T-tubers, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl T. Hey, how y'all doing? Don't forget, first things first, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. Okay? And tell a friend to tell a friend. And then second order of business is you need to have your drink ready. Okay? You can't sit in here without your sipping tool. Tonight's episode will be about parenting. And over the last week, I have just been contemplating as far as what I wanted to do the first video on. And hold on, let me get situated while y'all get situated. And the reason why I came up with this to be the first episode is because for the last few weeks, I have been struggling mentally as far as me personally being a single parent and, excuse me, it's been rough. You know, me personally, I've been a single parent for over a year now. And it's hard, you know. I've gone from, that's really good. That's really good. I've gone from state to state, home to home, just trying to find what's right for me and most importantly for my children. And now I'm on my own and it's been rough because it's not just about me, it's about them as well. So sometimes like I work on top of being a mom and I work 12-hour shifts. My children are too young for school, so right after work, it's like I gotta come be a mom. Then I gotta go back to work. I gotta come back and be a mom, go back to work, come be a mom, and then it's no thought time. And a lot of parents get caught in the idea of whether you're a single parent or a two-family parent or whatever your situation is, all parents need time to themselves. And lately, I've just been struggling with the fact that I really do want to do better, but sometimes my mental isn't all the way there, and I have to constantly remind myself that this is the life that I chose as far as my children. I chose to have my children, whether I planned it to be, you know, with the person I had them with, or by myself. I chose that decision or those decisions that led me to where I am today. And that's the thing right there that brings my spirits back up, or when I notice the little things that they do to make me feel like I'm special. It's like, okay, boom, you know, you're not doing as bad as you think you are. Because even though other people on the outside looking in may see that you're doing a great job, it's like sometimes I personally, and I know other people, get down on themselves believing that, hey, I ain't got it all. And we get stuck in trying to pretend to other people as though everything is okay when it's not. And we don't know necessarily, I'm not going around saying, or rather, I'm not saying go around telling different people your business or the obstacles that you're currently facing, but it does help to tell somebody for the simple fact that you never know who's been in your shoes before. And that's what really kind of gets me through on top of everything else. It's like, yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I want to hear go 1 hour, maybe 3, without hearing mommy, 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 or having to make sure everybody else or my whole household, meaning me and my children, are good. sometimes I just want to inhale, exhale, and be like, okay, think, don't feel, don't get stuck in the feeling of, I'm not where I want to be, because I'm way further than I was prior to. I mean, look at me, I have my own place now. You know, it's other obstacles that may come here and there, but for the most part, it's doing pretty good. And as I stated, it's very easy to get down on myself because I don't have that time to just process everything and get a break. I mean, I'm not that type of parent who is okay with pushing my children onto other people, or I'm not as trustworthy as some parents are. So it kind of also makes it harder for me to just be like, all right, boom, let me go take a walk by myself. Let me go get some fresh air. Let me drop them off to this person, because I made the decision to move states apart from my entire support system. So in all actuality, I'm alone, but along my process, like that's why I said you never know who's been through things that you're going through, because along the way I have met a great support system as well in my travels. So it makes it good for me, but at the same time it makes it sad for me, because just because people are your support system doesn't mean you should feel obligated to be able to lean on them in times when you need a mental day or you need to just think to yourself, because in all actuality, it's not nobody else's responsibility except for yours. So like I said, excuse me, a lot of times I do get down on myself, and for the last week, 2 or 3, I've been in a battlefield with myself personally, because someone said to me recently that I didn't do enough as a mom, and it kind of took me back. And for a week I pondered over, exactly what that meant or how I should interpret it. And it's not to say that I'm a bad mom or anything like that. And I may be doing what I'm supposed to do as far as making sure they have food on the table, giving them the love that they deserve, or a house over their head, or doing what I'm supposed to do as a parent. But sometimes it's like, again, I'm not where I want to be in life, and I can't give them the things that I want to actually give them versus the things that I need to give them. I want to be able to give them their needs and their wants at the same time while building strong minds. And it's like, it's hard to not get stuck. It's so hard to not get stuck in feeling like you're not doing enough because of the fact that you're not where you want to be. And that goes for people who don't have children as well, because a lot of people, majority of the world, gets stuck in the mentality that instead of saying, oh, I need to grind harder or I need to make another way, we sit here and get down on ourselves instead. And then you're not going to get where you need to go if you continue to have that type of mindset. If you continue to believe, oh my God, I can't get to this, or everybody else around me got this, or you constantly looking at other people's plate, you're not going to focus on your plate and how right now, yes, this is what I got, this is where I want to be. All right, let me come up with a plan to get where I need to be or where I want to be. It's simple, but in today's society, in today's time, we let the bad moments get the best of us. And when the bad moments get the best of us, it takes over everything. It leaves us in a bad headspace where we can't properly communicate with the people around us, or we're not on our game and we're not handling things the way that we should be handling them. And it's like, what is going to come out of me constantly being in a negative headspace or me being pessimistic about my current situation is already here. Your current situation is already here. For the parents out there, you're already a parent. You already made that decision. It's here. What can you do next that will get you out of whatever you're in? Or where did you mess up right before here? Where you're at right now, where did you mess up? How can you take accountability in that and then let that go where you can progress now and do better for your future? If we focus so much on the past, the present, the future, instead of this was done, this is how I got here, this is how I'm gonna get here, and then boom, next topic. Now you're working on doing better. I know I personally had to work on sleep. Sleep is my number one thing. I get cranky. And when I get cranky, I yell. But I'm human. Sleep is not my ideal reason of getting time to myself. So I don't sleep because I work overnight. And that causes me to be angry in the daytime because just because I can't sleep overnight don't mean my kids don't sleep overnight. And just because I want to sleep during the day don't mean my kids want to sleep during the day. And learning that I am the problem in it all is the number one thing, because a lot of people cannot admit when they're wrong. I know a lot of times I'm wrong. I tell my children, like, just go in your room. I need a break. Just do this. I need a break. They don't understand that. They look at me like, okay. Mommy. Like, they don't understand. So therefore, who am I to continue to push them? Instead, I need to be pushing myself. Okay, you know these kids are going to be up at this time. You need to have this, and this ready so that when they wake up, it's right there in their face. You get a moment to yourself within that time. Breathe, meditate, find a way. Think about what you plan on doing today. Set plans. Because if you don't set plans and follow through with those plans, you'll just be constantly just going and you don't really have time. But if you time manage or manage your time better, then boom, now, okay, even if I get a nap in right here where they're playing or eating, boom, I got some sleep or stuff like that. And I'm still learning. I mean, I'm a new mom. I've only been a mom for 3 years going on. So I'm a new mom and I'm learning from everybody else around me who are parents' mistakes. So I'm learning from my parents' mistakes. I'm learning from my siblings' parenting mistakes. I'm learning from my grandparents' mistakes, so I'm learning. And in the time that I'm learning, I will make mistakes. And that's something that I have to remember because I'm not perfect. I am human. And, with being human, I have to take the good and the bad. I made a mistake. Okay, how can I not make this mistake again? How can I do better next time where this is not the same cause and effect repeated cycle over and over and over again? Because once you do something more than once, it's no longer a mistake. Now it's you, it's in your character. That's something that you do. You have to learn mind over matter. My circumstances aren't great. Oftentimes I don't know how a bill is going to get paid. I can't do overtime like my other peers or my friends or whatever the case may be. I don't have those same obligations. So I have to figure out like, okay, don't get down on yourself because you cannot do this. Sometimes people cannot do it. But you have to find a way and you have to make a way and you have to stay positive while doing so, because if you let the negativity take control of you, you will be fucked and your children will be fucked in the process. To be honest. So, like I said, the big thing that has been on my mind lately has been parenting, and that's why I wanted to do my first episode on it. Also because, like, being a single parent is probably like the hardest thing that I've ever had to deal with personally. It's like, a lot of times I do want to call the other person and just be like, I need help. But then I come to reality and it's like, me personally, I would rather struggle on my own than to ask somebody who I know isn't willing, or I don't even have contact with, to do something that I know damn well that they don't want to do. If they want to do it, they would still be here. And it's not to show pity on myself or anything like that, because I'm over that. It's just to say, like, sometimes it's true. Like, I do want to pick up the phone. But I feel like you can't force nobody to be where they should be, but they don't want to be. At the end of their life, that's the demons that they have to carry. I cannot hold burdens, or I cannot carry nobody else's demons for them, because of the fact that at the same time, I have shit that I need to get done, but I can't sometimes. I made a choice to be in their life and to have them. So with that being said, it's no point. It's no point. And that's another thing I sometimes get caught up in. Feeling like, oh, well, why is it that, you know, this person gets to do that and it's not fair? And life is not about fairness. Life is about the obstacles that you go through and get through, and the type of person that it makes you in the end, because life is short. And if you spend all your time focused on the next person and the fairness of the way that life is supposed to be, you'll be stuck. Don't get stuck. I made this again because I know I'm not the only one who get down on myself as a parent. I know I'm not the only one who still sometimes deals with postpartum depression. I know I'm not the only one, but I also know that I'm not the only one who wants to heal from it and who wants to do better and see better within themselves and their life. Coming from the background that I come from, a lot of things are easy to pick up on and repeat. But I knew at a very young age that had I had children, a lot of things would not be the same for me. I try to raise my children differently than a lot of people, and a lot of people sit here and they place judgment, or they want to tell me how to raise my children. I get it. If you've done it before, hand clap to you. That's your life, your kids. But with my life and my kids, how I choose to raise them is how I choose to raise them. That's like my biggest pet peeve of someone telling me, because it's a difference. I'm good at criticism. I'm good at advice. I'm good at all of that until you try to tell me what to do. It's a difference between advice giving and telling somebody what to do. Don't tell me your child needs this and you need to give it to them versus, you know, doctors say, you know, this is kind of good, you should try it out. It's a different way of saying things. And that's just it. Don't tell me how to raise my kids. Don't tell me, oh, you should pop them. You should beat them. You should do this. My children are 1 and 2. No. I don't care how other people raise their children. That's on them. But in my house, we're going to change up the cycle. We're going to find other ways on doing things. And that's going to be that. I am. You are. We are. gonna fuck it up sometimes, where we are repeating those cycles. But the best thing that you can do is see it and change it. Change is the greatest apology. You could tell somebody all day long what they doing wrong, what they doing wrong. If they continue to do it, they just don't care. You don't care, because if you think something wrong and you know personally that had the shoe been on the other foot, they wouldn't accept that same thing, yet they refuse to change it because they're okay with doing it to you, you have to walk away. And your kids should be no different. Your kids should feel like they have that choice to walk away. Your kids should feel as though they have the right to talk to you about anything. If they don't like something that you're doing, or they don't like, it's their opinion, it's their perspective. You have to be willing as a parent to listen to what your children are saying, because you do not want your child to grow up in a way of they feel like they have to be closed. They feel like they have so much weight on their shoulders and so much on their mind that they end up ruining their lives by doing drugs that mess up their lives, or committing suicide, or hanging with the wrong people, or whatever it may be. You have to realize that listening will get you much further than just talking. If your child is coming to you and trusting in you and confiding in you to be able to tell you something, whether it's about you, themselves, or anything else that's going on in their lives, you have to be willing to listen. You have to be open, because a lot of past generations have been so closed-minded that it becomes a cycle. Those kids begin to have kids, and when their kids are about the same age that they were when they try to speak up, they do the same exact thing that their parents did to them, where they're not listening. They just want to tell their kids what they're out there doing, or tell their kids, oh, I know you did this, I know you did that, da 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 da. Oh, I don't care how you feel because blah, 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 blah. It's not fair to them. So I feel like I'm much better now that I had time to sit back and process everything, and realizing that I'm not the only one going through obstacles. Obstacles don't happen just because you have children or because you don't have children. Obstacles come every day, and I know that I'm not alone as a parent, because I do have a support system. I mean, I can't call my support system and be like, oh, let me hold my rent money, because I can't do that. But at the same time, you have a support system where people can listen to you. Find people who are willing to listen to you, because that's the biggest thing. Sometimes we as people just need to vent and get things off our chest so we can really say things out loud and uncover it ourselves for the most part. If not, we'll all be continue to be fucked in life, and our children will continue to be fucked in life, and it'll just continue to be a repeated cycle. And I just got to the point where I'm tired of feeling bad for myself. Like, it's boring. It's boring. It's draining. It's like I wake up, drain. Go to sleep, drain. My whole day in between was drained. Like, that's not the way I want to live. I'm very young. And I feel like with having 2 younger kids, it's like you got extra life on top of that, like extra young life. And it's a lot out here to experience. I mean, you may get down on yourself as a single parent, yes, as a parent in general. But you got to take that ladder and climb up out of that and keep going and do your thing. So that was episode 1, and I wish you guys the best on your journey. Please do not forget, like, comment below, feedback, because we love feedback. If you have any topics that you do want me to discuss, whether you or somebody else may or may not have went through them or are going through them, please feel free to comment below. Subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. This will get great, and you will have episodes every Sunday. Every Sunday as of right now. So once a week, it's me and you and that bottle, because we're going to be sipping and healing together. So have a great one, and much love.